Hey guys, with 2019 coming to an end, I want to reflect on the past year because it has been a crazy year here at Redline. If you guys saw my latest Instagram posts, I showed that we managed to produce a total of 203 new videos in all of 2019. So I managed to drive a lot of cars, and one of the requests that you guys always ask me, when I drive so many cars, what were some of my favorites? What were some that actually stood out for me? So in this video, we're gonna go over my top 5 favorite cars that I managed to test in all of 2019. Now, to help me choose these top 5 vehicles, I'm actually going to try to narrow it down to top 5 categories, because with 203 cars that I managed to film videos on this year, there were a lot of cars to choose from, so I was trying to really pick out the ones that stood out to me the most. Now, the 5 categories that I've chosen for this video are going to be my favorite engine of 2019, my favorite 3-row family car of 2019, my best overall family car, my favorite off-road vehicle of 2019, and of course, last but not least, my favorite sports car of 2019. And I'll be honest, there were some vehicles from this list or from this category that I couldn't actually choose just one winner for. Now let's first start with my favorite engine of 2019. And to do that, we're gonna go back to one of the earlier videos that I posted in the early part of 2019. That award is gonna go to the 2019 Audi RS3. Now, if you guys know the RS3, it is the high-performance version of the Audi A3. It is the least expensive way you can get into an Audi RS performance vehicle here in the States. And with a fire-breathing 2.5 liter inline 5-cylinder turbo engine. That's right, a 5-cylinder engine in today's era of electrification. It is just a unicorn of an engine, and it makes nearly 400 horsepower, 354 pound-feet of torque. If you guys watch my RS3 video, it's at over 500,000 views. Noises it makes from that exhaust, the crackles, the pops, the way that sonorous 5-cylinder sings paired with that dual clutch transmission and quattro all-wheel drive. You'll get to 60 in around 3.7 seconds in that car, smoking a lot of sports cars, a lot of supercars, and with a starting price of around $56,000, it is relatively affordable or attainable in the performance specs means. And you'll also be driving a car that is exclusive because, as you guys know, Audi RS performance vehicles are few and far between, so I suggest if you want one, pick one of those up while Audi continues to still offer them here in the States. Moving on to my best 3-row family vehicle, I actually included 2 cars in this category because I simply couldn't choose 2. It really depends on your budget, and that's kind of how I broke down the 2 categories. Now, of course, if you guys are on a budget or if you're looking for a mainstream 3-row family car, that award is going to go to the all-new 2020 Kia Telluride. Now, as you guys know, I drove the Telluride earlier this year in Telluride, Colorado. Fantastic location, Kia, for the launch of that car. I was simply blown away with its Range Rover looks on the exterior, to its luxury car design on the interior with its materials, to an interior that's also filled with so much tech for the price and so much space for the price. It was one of the few 3-row mid-size crossovers that you could actually put 3 adults in the back seat for. So bravo on Kia for designing a car. They took the time with the Telluride, and it really shows. If you're looking to buy a Telluride here in America today, be prepared to pay sticker price or more. There are a lot of dealers in the US that are charging over MSRP, which is a shame, but you should know that you are getting a really competitive car that seriously put Honda and Toyota on notice, because the current Highlander and the current Pilot just simply aren't up to the same snuff that you get with the Telluride, and of course the sister vehicle, the Hyundai Palisade, but I still prefer the looks, the design of the Telluride more over the Palisade. Now, the Telluride in general starts at around $31,700 for the base model. You'll pay around $45,000, $46,000 for the top trim SX versions. But what if your budget was much higher than that and money really wasn't a huge factor for you? Well, if you guys are looking for a 3-row family car that'll impress you, where you could spend a lot more money, that award for me is going to go to the BMW X7. Now, when I first saw the X7 in LA last year, I wasn't really super impressed with the looks. It had those big Winifred Sanders nostrils at the front fascia, but when you drive the X7, From its base 3-liter turbo engine with 335 horsepower to the 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, which BMW just upped the power for 2020. The V8 model will truly surprise you. It is the sportiest driving 3-row family car that I've driven. It has an interior that is just filled with luxury materials, from the glass controls to the merino leather that is literally stitched everywhere throughout the dashboard, even into the 3rd row. This is a car that will seriously impress a lot of people. It kind of has the qualities of a Range Rover, but with the 3-row seating capability that you're looking for, and of course the familiarity that you get with a BMW. It is very much the ultimate driving SUV, family SUV, and with a starting price of around $74,000 for the base 3-liter inline 6, going up to about 99 grand for the M8, the M50i with 523 horsepower, you'll be spending roughly 6 figures for a fully loaded X7, but hey, if your budget allows for it, be sure to put that one at the top of your list. And of course, here in America, not everybody needs a family car that has 3 rows of seats. So if you guys are just looking for the best all-around family car that I tested this year, that award is going to go to the all-new 2020 Subaru Outback. Now, more specifically, the XT trim. I drove the base engine, wasn't really as happy with that version, but the XT, the Outback, as you guys know, rides on an all-new Subaru global product architecture this year. It has a design that is very much evolutionary. Some of you may have to squint at it and say it doesn't really look all that new, but the Outback is a special vehicle for Subaru because it's the best-selling station wagon. That's right, station wagon here in America. Subaru consistently sells nearly 200,000 units, and with the all-new version, I expect them to surpass that mark with a base price of around $26,700 for the base 2.5i version. If you guys want that turbo engine, which I highly recommend for its torque, for its smooth power delivery, for its efficiency that's not much worse than the base engine, you're gonna be spending around $34,000, $35,000 for the Onyx Edition XT. Highly recommend it. With so much cargo space on the inside, a lot of space on the interior, the raised ground clearance, it actually has off-road capability and towing capability. A lot of people in America would be very happy with a Subaru Outback, and its pricing is right in line with the heavy hitters like the Honda CR-V, the Mazda CX-5, and the Toyota RAV4. And of course, here in the States, off-road vehicles are continuing to grow in popularity. So my next award, which is my favorite off-road vehicle that I tested this year, is going to go to the Jeep JL Wrangler, the new version of the Wrangler, which you guys know I tested the Wrangler first last year, but this year I managed to test 2 different versions of the Wrangler, in addition to the Gladiator, which is the pickup truck version, technically a different model. The one that I really fell in love with was an unlimited Rubicon with the 2-liter e-torque, the turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, which has about 270 horsepower. That engine, while it didn't offer much in terms of noise, offered a lot of torque, a lot of acceleration, had a really snappy 8-speed automatic transmission. And really, for 2020, Jeep doesn't charge you extra for the e-torque engine. It's now included as a no-charge option from the Pentastar V6. You just have to pay $1,500 extra for the 8-speed automatic. Now, the other engine that I haven't actually shown you guys a video yet, but I did already test, is the Eco Diesel Wrangler. That one's gonna cost you about $4,000 more, so you'll have to watch my full review when I post that after this video later on in January, if I think it's actually worth the extra money over the e-torque and the Pentastar engine. The Eco Diesel for sure is the one that enthusiasts are going to want for its extra torque. But if you guys are looking to buy a Wrangler, they start at around $28,295 for the base Sport, at about $4 grand for the Unlimited. If you guys know Jeep Wranglers, they are one of the most iconic and recognizable vehicles in America. They have incredible resale value, the best resale value of any new vehicle available. So if you guys are looking to buy a new one, they actually are a good investment because they hold their value so incredibly well. You're going to spend around $42,000 for a Rubicon. Be careful with options because Wranglers can easily top $60,000 with every option ticked, but with so much customization, with so many people buying them, Jeep consistently sells about $250,000 every year. It's pretty easy to recommend one if you guys are looking for an off-road vehicle that also isn't horrible to drive on the road if you guys are planning to actually use one as your daily. And finally, last but not least, how could we not talk about our favorite sports cars of 2020? And even though crossovers are what everybody buys, I actually managed to drive a few new sports cars this year. And for that list, I actually have 2 because I have one that's a closed hardtop two-door coupe. The other one, of course, is a drop top, because I'm a huge fan of convertibles. If you guys want to have basically top-down motoring, you want to let all your stresses of your everyday life go out through the roof, convertibles are really the only way to go. And of course, for my favorite sports cars that I drove this year, the first one is going to go to the all-new 2020 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. Now, of course, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the old GT500. It was really just a Mustang with a loosey-goosey suspension setup, but a really ballsy engine. The new one is basically Ford did it right. You've got a 760 horsepower, 5.2 liter supercharged V8, which probably would have gotten the award of my favorite engine this year if Audi didn't snag it first with their 5-cylinder. That screaming V8, the supercharger, that 7-speed dual clutch, you'll be getting to 60 in around 3.3 seconds. Quarter mile times will be under 11 seconds. And Ford proved me wrong, because unlike the Charger and Challenger Hellcats, even though they have more power if you guys go for the red eye, Ford managed to figure out how to put over 750 horsepower to just the rear wheels and actually put that power down to where it really doesn't make you poo every time you put your foot down, because it doesn't actually scare you. And when I tested the vehicle in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, I was blown away with the track capabilities of that car on a road course, with the drag strip capabilities. It'll just launch all day long with its launch control. It's a car that starts at around $74,000, which is actually a little bit less than the GT350R. Granted, that version is more track capable itself, and it comes with a manual transmission. Keep in mind, if you guys aren't careful with the options of a GT500, you can easily spec it out to be over $100,000, especially if you just tick that nearly $20,000 for the carbon fiber track package. Now, of course, if you guys are looking for a drop top, my award for that is going to go to the 2020 BMW Z4 M40i. Now, if you guys are wondering, why didn't I include a Toyota Supra on this list? Because I drove that earlier this year. Love the Supra, but I just prefer its BMW cousin because it's a convertible. I also like the way the new Z4 looks. It's a very elegant, classy looking car with that, trademark long hood for that straight 6-cylinder engine. It's got an interior that's a little bit nicer than the Supra because it has the newer infotainment system, a lot of great luxury and tech features, and it also handles extremely well this year because it was co-developed with Toyota. And you can also still use it as a GT car because it has a very comfortable, quiet interior, a really nice, secure, soft top that looks great, whether it have the top up or top down. With a starting price of around $49,000 for the base engine to around $63,000 for the M40i, it's a convertible that is a lot cheaper than its closest competitor from Porsche, the 718 Boxster. Sit. Cedar, sit. Cedar, sit. Lay down. Sit. Cedar, sit. Sit. I need to finish. Cedar, no. Hey, go sit. Sit. Good boy. And of course, that concludes my list of my favorite cars that I drove in 2019. There are, however, a lot of cars that are coming out for 2020, so I wanted to briefly talk about the cars that I'm most looking forward to driving in 2020. If you really just watch my LA Auto Show videos, there are a good amount of vehicles from that list that I'm including on the cars that I'm looking forward to driving next year. The first one, of course, being the all-new C8 Corvette. This is a car that Motor Trend has already named their car of the year. Most people haven't driven it yet because Chevy hasn't actually done the media drive. So, I had a lot of experience driving the C7 Vet, very much looking forward to driving the mid-engine Vet with a starting price of under $60,000. That's the car that basically broke the internet. The other car that is I'm very much looking forward to driving is another American brand. It's the new Ford Mustang Mach-E. I know, an electrified SUV with the Mustang name, but it is very much a Tesla Model Y competitor, which is also the other vehicle I'm looking forward to driving next year. Both cars have 300 miles of range. The performance versions will get to 60 in under 4 seconds. And really, it's the exact car that a lot of people in America are looking for, an SUV with the ground clearance, with all-wheel drive, with over 300 miles of range, and a starting price of around $40,000. The electrified SUV segment is really going to heat up next year when both the Mach-E and the Model Y come out. The other vehicle that I'm super excited to drive is another Ford. It's the upcoming 2021 Ford Bronco. Now this is of course a direct rival to the Jeep Wrangler. It's taken Ford so long to finally bring the Bronco name back. It's going to be a real rough and tough truck, unlike the new Chevy Blazer and Chevy Trailblazer, which are car-based vehicles. Ford will be showing us the full production version of the Bronco in the spring of 2020, and I'll be very much looking forward to driving that whenever it becomes available later next year. The other vehicle that I'm really excited to drive is the car that actually got the most views out of all of my LA Auto Show videos that I filmed last month. It's the 2021 Audi RS3 Avant. I mean, come on guys. A station wagon with a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 and 600 horsepower, 0-60 in the mid-threes. This is a car that Mercedes has been afraid Audi would import to the States for a long time, and they're finally doing it. So if you have over $120,000 in your bank account, you should definitely head over to your local Audi dealership and put a deposit down for one, because I'm just super happy that it's coming to the States. We really could use more fast wagons, and it's great that Audi listened to Americans when we pleaded for them to bring that car here. And finally, the last car that I'm super excited to drive next year is the upcoming 2021 Lexus LC 500 convertible. I mean, if you take the gorgeous LC with its naturally aspirated screaming 5-liter V8 and chop the top off, you basically get a sexier car, and you'll get more noise that you can hear from that sonorous exhaust. So when that car goes on sale next year, which I'll be driving actually in California in summer of 2020, it's a car that I'm sure a lot of enthusiasts are gonna want. It's a car that Lexus has been needing again in their lineup. As you guys know, they haven't had a convertible in their lineup for a few years now. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video of my top 5 favorite cars that I drove in 2019, and of course my upcoming cars that I'm very much looking forward to driving in 2020. The channel has definitely been going through a lot this year. We're about to hit 700,000 subscribers, which we'll probably be hitting as this video is posting tomorrow or on New Year's Eve. The channel itself has really exceeded my expectations. The 2010 decade is really when I started Redline. This channel, of course, was created in May of 2012, and since then, it has exceeded my expectations in terms of growth. I added a full-time videographer, Rob, which you guys have seen behind the camera. He does all of my editing for me. He does a great job with every video that he works on, and they honestly get better every time I see him work on another video. I also have another business partner, Adam, who does a really great job with just handling the day in and day outs of the business side of Redline. And of course, I also have help from Keith. You guys have saw him in my Manscaped ad video. He helps me a lot whenever I go to the auto show. So it's really not just me, it's a team of 3 other people that really help out with making this channel, be where it is today. But of course, we wouldn't be where we are today without all the support of you guys. So of course, I want to thank you all so much for being with us throughout all these years. Some of you have been with us since the channel started about 8-9 years ago. It's really hard to believe that in the 2020 decade, Redline will have been around for 10 years. So I'm very much looking forward to that. The car technology, as you guys know, is always changing. So as long as there are new cars to be reviewed, I'm going to continue to post these videos, do these videos, and allow the channel to grow to the point where you guys have your expectations high for the channel. As we approach 1 million subscribers on the YouTube channel, which I'm hoping we do for 2020, things are only going to continue to improve with the channel. So with all that said, please be sure, if you guys haven't already done so, to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I know a lot of you are watching this video without actually subscribing. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, because it really does show us the support that we need to allow the channel to continue to grow. And if you guys also have your social media accounts, be sure to also follow us on Instagram at redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook. With all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, our year-end video review in 2019. There's a lot coming in 2020, and we're very much looking forward to showing you guys all the new tech, all the new cars that are coming out. So with all that said, I hope you guys have a happy and prosperous New Year's, and we will see you all in 2020. Bless you, Peter. Ooh. You are being a little rat. You are just a handful, Cedar.